Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Edric Show. I am your host, Edric Jerome. This is the place for intelligent conversation with interesting people. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and you'll get notified when I post content each and every week. Very special guest on today's version of the Edric Show. My guest is Bay Area artist, singer, songwriter, producer, actor, and entrepreneur, Keldamuzik. She's known for her hit singles, Queen for a Night and Thirsty, which are both available on her fourth studio album, Diva TV. Kelda has toured internationally with R&B singer Lloyd, Kid Ink, and Ja Cure. Her music has been featured on MTV's The Real World and Oxygen Channel's Bad Girl Club, and Keldamuzik's podcast, Diva Talk Podcast, streams on iHeartRadio. I'm pleased and honored to welcome Keldamuzik to the Edric Show. Kelda, welcome.
Hello, Edric. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Been looking forward to it. So let's get right into it. Let's start at the beginning. So tell me where you grew up and when did you know or how did you get into this business that's called the entertainment business?
Yes, so I was born and raised in San Jose. And what I like to tell people is, you know, Kelda Williams was born and raised in San Jose. But then when I got older, after I turned 18, and I relocated to Oakland to actually pursue my career in the entertainment industry, that's when Keldamuzik was born. And what I did when I moved to Oakland was not only did I record my first album, Shut Up Listen, with Squad Music Group, but to promote that, I created a promotional vehicle, which was a public access show. So what I did was I would go backstage like as media, really. Not really, really as media, but fake media.
You got the
And I would
credential, right? You get the media credential and you're
exactly
in
get
there.
the
Of course, of course.
exactly got the media credentials, and I would go backstage for all the hip hop concerts and interview all the rap artists, R&B artists, and get them on my show. And my show was, I had it placed on 25 public access stations across the Bay Area. So, it was a hustle. But at the end of the day, I made great connections, built my network, and especially built my music network to where I was able to collaborate with artists. So it was a new thing that was being done. And, not to toot my horn or anything, but I put a lot of up and coming artists in Oakland on TV.
Hmm.
And I did it through a channel called Our TV, which was known as Soul Beat. So I had Diva TV on there, and then I had Diva TV on several other access stations. But that's how I pretty much got started, and it launched my music career to collaborate with other artists, as well as do shows with other artists. And then next thing you know, I'm touring internationally, and I'm getting music placed. Um, on a global scale on major film and TV networks. So Oakland definitely gave birth to Keldamuzik, and the reason why I'm sitting with you right now.
We were talking a little bit before we started, and I was telling you I talk to people all the time, creative artists, producers from Oakland, and I always ask them, what is it about Oakland that brings out the entrepreneurial spirit, the creativity? Oakland just has a different vibe than everywhere else.
It does, creativity. It's just, I think it's just what's in the air out there. It starts from one creator and it leads to the next, and it just keeps getting better, better, and better. And on an entrepreneur level, you have people like, Mr. Fab, who has Dope Era, and even Marshawn Lynch had his own store, has his own restaurant, actually. You just have so many creatives there that they they find Oakland such a happy place and such a joyful place that it gives you that vibe to want to create. And then, not to mention what's going on in the community internally, with some of the crimes and violence we have. It makes you want to be more creative to keep these people off the streets, to, keep these kids focused on a path to where they can be just as successful as. some of the other successful creators in Oakland. So I don't know, Oakland just really has that vibe in the air where everyone wants to do something where they have major responsibility and where they're just being creative and they're in charge.
Hmm. Speaking of the creative process, being as well versed as you are in so many different genres, endeavors, things that you do, what's your creative process like? Is it different for each genre? I mean, do you have a different way of vibing for when you're making music versus when you're acting or when you're producing or being an entrepreneur? Tell me about your creative process.
Yeah, well, I definitely consult with a team, and I come up with the foundation of the process, and I think that's very important for any artist, no matter what type of art you're creating. You have to come up with a foundation. From there, you get opinions from friends, from fans, from family members, and it kind of helps you develop your idea. It's almost like, it takes a village to raise a child. Same thing with your brand. Musically, it takes a community of people to support you, to stream your music, to attend your shows, to follow you on social media, to engage with you. Same thing with fashion, same thing with films, same thing with TV. It's just all about support, and you have to campaign like you're a president. Every time your favorite artist drops an album, where's the first place you see them? On, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, all the talk shows, Sway in the Morning, KMEL, they have to do a press run. So, everything pretty much has the same formula when it comes to promoting and campaigning.
Hmm. You, like I said, you're well versed in so many different areas, but you've been very successful with your music, producing, writing, performing, and you've navigated that distribution thing with getting your music on, national TV and this and that. Um, Describe your music and
Mhm.
almost, and I say, and can you speak to the music business today? I mean, I'm sure you've been in it a while. I'm sure you've seen some changes in it from when you started till now.
Yeah. So the music industry has always been challenging, and what I tell other up and coming artists is do this for the love, right? If you should be an artist already and just doing it for the love and the creative aspect of it. Don't look at it as, I'm trying to get rich and famous, because that's not going to happen if that's what you're doing it for. Um, and if you are trying to pursue this professionally, I would like to say, to make a living off of it, then you have to wear many hats before anyone else can join can join you in this journey, right? You have to wear your business hat. You have to wear your publicist hat. You have to wear your management hat. You have to wear so many hats and do so many things by yourself, all the legwork to attract people to want to work with you or invest in you. And now with the music industry changing because of the streaming game, I think it simplifies it a little bit more for artists, because now you really can do this by yourself. If you have a budget to put towards promoting through ads, through campaigns, and creating professional artwork to make it look like you came from a major label or a major corporation, then you're already winning a couple fans who respect you as a professional artist. So there's so many tools out there available now, and then you have AI, which is taking over a lot now and doing things for artists. Um, there's no excuse as to why you actually cannot do this professionally. But again, that shouldn't be the goal. Shouldn't be to be famous and get rich, but to do this professionally and make a living and be able to eat and sleep comfortably every day. There's ways to do it nowadays. um as far as my creative process when it comes to making music, I'm very selective. There's several producers that come to me every day. Hey, I got this beat that I could see you on. Oh man, I heard this other song you made, and I think as a female rapper, you could kill this beat. But I'm like, yeah, I probably can, but I'm not feeling the beat. And the beat does not match my style, and it doesn't match what I represent. And I think as an artist, no matter what makes you an artist and what makes you a genius creator is because you are selective about who you work with and what type of music you record on. Not just anything, even with features. Whether an artist has a budget or not, I still have to feel the song. I have to feel what it's about, and I have to know I can write a killer verse to it. I'm not just going to do it because the money is there, or even because the artist is famous. I have to feel the chemistry between the music and myself.
You're also well versed as an actor. You've
Mhm.
done several roles as an actor. What drew you to acting, and what do you get out of being able to perform in front of the camera?
Yes, I've always been an actress since I was a kid. Always been in front of the camera, always been going on auditions for children's commercials, cereal commercials, clothing, shoes commercials, all of that. And always have been memorizing monologues and going on auditions and rehearsing with different acting coaches. Um, I love when it comes to acting, it's really like you're by yourself, you're not being trained on wheels. You don't have people backing you up trying to help you, memorize anything or whatever. You are just you, and you get to interpret this character that you're given to portray in your own way. I mean, you still have to portray that character the way it's given to you, but you get to put your spin on it. And that's the freedom of being an actor. I was in a play called How Black Mothers Say I Love You. It was my very first play that I starred in, directed by Tanika Baptiste. And oh my gosh, it was scary at first because I'd never been in a play, and it was a Black theater play, which means it was more intimate. It was no more than like 50 people that were sitting, on the floor just directly looking at you. It's not a theater where it holds like 300 people, and when you look out to the audience it's all Black. Like, no, those people are looking at you. And if you mess up, they know it. You know what I mean? But I will say I did mess up a few times, but for what it's worth, my first time and doing 12 consecutive shows in a row, I killed that shit.
I heard that. I heard. Confidence. Let me touch on that because I think
Yeah,
there is a place for humility, but there's also in this business you have to be confident, right? I mean, you have to believe in yourself. So, doing everything that you've been doing and all of the different projects you've been working on over the years, I would imagine you have to have self confidence in order to be able to do what you've been doing.
you do. You do. Um, Confidence can grow on others if you don't have it, but really, it's either you have it or you don't. You know what I mean? You sink or swim. This industry is not made for everyone. And even those who are really, really confident and who are extremely talented don't don't make it, or they don't get to be where they want to be, right? Because it's like winning the lottery. So there's people who are not confident that do make it. And it's like, well, damn, how did that happen? And there's so many reasons because of that. But, you know, when it comes to confidence, you really have to have it on your own. You don't want to be trained or coached to be confident, right? You rather talk to a friend or a family member or someone really close to you who you could be confident with. And then you talk to someone else close to you that you could be confident with. And that's how your confidence builds and it grows. But, to go to someone professionally, how to build your confidence, for this business, I wouldn't recommend that because now you're not being genuine. You're not being yourself. You're being a robot. And when it comes to auditioning for casting directors and stuff, they want to know who you are. They want to see you. They want to see how you would interpret this script, how you would say this word or that word. Do you read everything verbatim or do you ad lib? Do you improv? And we only know that based off of your natural confidence, not something that you were told to do or trained or developed to do.
You've been in several projects in front of the camera, but you're also a producer. in different genres as well. So, talk to me about your, I guess, perspective as a producer, and what are some of the things that maybe someone who's trying to get into producing might want to be aware of for a particular project.
Yeah, so I produced two short films that actually made it to the Black Hollywood Film Festival. One is called Whose Right Is It Anyway? And then there was another called Love the Original Way. And I self-produced those short films. I co-wrote both of them. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. From writing, finding the right production team who sees your vision and who's able to, create the vision for you without doing too much on their end. You know what I mean? Because everyone, once a project comes into place and they know there's a budget and it's official, now you have all these opinions and suggestions all of a sudden. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's not what I wanted. What I want is control over my project. And I want you guys to see the same vision as I do. And let's create that vision. Uh, so it is pretty difficult starting out. And most of all, you always want to have a good writer. And good writers are hard to come by because, again, people stick to this industry script instead of being really creative on their own. And that's what I look for. I go through so many writers for ideas that sometimes it takes a while for me to even put a script together or even the film itself together because it's like the synopsis has to be right. Um, the concept has to be, what's the word? Concept has to be interesting.
Hmm.
So it's really hard when it comes to gathering the right people to put your vision on camera through the lens. I would say that's like the most difficult part about it. But otherwise, when your project's done, it's like you just gave birth to another piece to the industry for something for people to enjoy.
Hmm. The other thing I really admire about you is, you own your projects. I mean, you are someone who's all about ownership, and I think that's so important. So talk to me about your concept of ownership, because you put in all that work and you produce and you've done all these different things. But tell me about your view of ownership of the work that you produce.
Yeah, so everything's copywritten, trademarked. I learned the hard way when I first started my beret line, which is called Tams. At first, I called them Tinks. And I learned the hard way because at first I didn't copyright. I didn't look up who else was using Tinks or anything like that. And, next thing I get a letter in the mail saying, hey, this major corporation is using that word. But their clothing line is catered to children, but it's still hitting a little too close to home because they use the word Tinks somehow, and they have a hat line within Tinks. And I'm like, oh no, I just spent all this money. I just sold all these berets. And so, now I'm looking for a lawyer. I'm looking to, either fight this so I could keep the name, or I'm looking at possibly changing it. And so, for me, it's all or nothing. I don't want to keep something and half half-ass do it and then later get caught up in the same situation. So I went ahead and I changed Tinks to Tams. And I had to pay a lot more money again and still kept the same fan base. All my models still purchased the upgraded beret from me. I even added a few new colors just to spice things up. But it's very important that you copyright and trademark everything you do because there is someone out there watching. And if they know you have not done all the proper legal steps to protect your brand, someone will be right behind you and they'll protect it for themselves. So always be aware of that and always have a good lawyer in your corner or a good law firm, someone who's going to read over contracts, someone who's going to tell you what to do and what not to do. All of those things are very, very important.
Hmm. We've talked about your music. We've talked about your podcast. We've talked about your clothing line. We've talked about you being a producer of short films, but you're also involved in a sitcom. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you are busy. Uh,
Yes.
Talk to me about the Hodges, the concept, who's in it,
Mhm.
and just what's that concept is about.
Yeah, so it's called The Hodges. It's starring comedian Mario Hodge, who is about to blow up. In my eyes, he's already huge, he's famous. But for those that don't know him, he has been touring with major other comedians, and on a weekly basis, he's on Kevin Hart's podcast. Um, but yeah, so the show is based around him being a comedian, and it's like your old fashioned sitcom, you know what I mean? Where it's a family. I play his wife, and we're just watching the challenges that he goes through as a struggling comedian trying to make it, and living off of his wife's earnings. The wife is the one paying all the bills. The wife is helping him fly him to get to his shows, buying his outfits. And, he's the one staying out extra late, and I'm not knowing where he is. And the kids are just like, the kids already know, like, mommy brings home the bacon, and daddy's just this so called comedian who travels um, around the country to perform, but, he's not making any money. And so we make jokes of about that throughout the entire series. And what's really funny is no one knows what I do. Kind of like Tommy from Martin, where it's just like, "What do you do? You have a nice car, mommy. You have you're bringing home all this money. You take care of the bills. Daddy doesn't. What do you do?" And it's like a secret throughout the whole show. So yeah, we're just a family. Um, with issues here and there, and the dad's funny as hell, and I'm the mom, and we have two kids, and you'll just see a lot of good you'll see a lot of good scenes where you're just like, oh my god, they did that, they really did that. So we'll be streaming on Amazon Prime most likely this summer.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Well, we have a few minutes left. So I want to ask you now, with everything you do and all the creativity that you have and just your personality, just all the endeavors that you're in, I imagine there are times when you have to fill your spiritual cup, when you have to, wellness, I'm sure is important to you. So how do you have that balance of being so creative, so busy,
Yeah.
you do so much. How do you take time to, just recharge? What do you do?
Sleep. Sleep is my best friend. If I'm not doing anything else, I am sleep. I am knocked out. I'm snoring. Uh, I have to have my sleep. If I don't have sleep, I'm no good to anyone. Aside from that, I lift weights. I love working on my legs, my arms, and then I'll walk the treadmill. Maybe twice, two or three times a week. But I always have to break a sweat, and I love to sleep, and I drink lots and lots and lots of water.
Hmm.
Um, I drink like maybe I could go through 5 water bottles a day, if not more. Like, I only drink water. I try not to drink juice, soda, nothing, just water. So yeah, you got to make sure you get your sleep, and you got to make sure you get a workout in. When you break a sweat, you feel like you're just letting all those bad toxins out of your body, and then when you sleep, you feel like you're recharging. So just imagine doing both of those, and the next day you have to wake up to be in the studio or on set or doing an interview. You'll see it in your face,
Hmm.
because if you don't have any of that, people will see it. Like, you need a rest, huh?
Hmm.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, that's what I do.
Well said. Well, as we get ready to wrap up, what's next for Keldamuzik, and where can people go to get information about you?
Yes, I'm working on my first self-produced feature film. We don't have the name of it yet, but we're possibly looking at filming in Bermuda. There's not much dialogue in it, but it's about me being stranded somewhere and trying to survive. So we're looking at filming that sometime this summer as well. And if anyone wants to find me, whether you're looking for my social pages, my projects, go to my website, Keldamuzik.com. That's KELDAMUZIK.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Kelda, I really enjoyed our conversation today. I appreciate you coming on the Edric Show and sharing your view of being an entrepreneur and a writer and producer and being multi-talented as you are. So thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much, Edric. You have a great one.
You too. This has been another edition of the Edric Show. My guest has been actor, producer, entrepreneur, writer, Keldamuzik, the very hydrated Keldamuzik, I should add. She can be seen at keldamuzik.com for more information about her. And I appreciate her time today. As promised, this is the place for intelligent conversation with interesting people. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. You'll get notified when I post content each and every week. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode.